Good afternoon, this is Alex Borm, or you may know me as Not Sparta. Today I'm discussing the Atlantic tropics again, and here's 94L. Now, after having a day or so relatively good convection, it's fading again, as you can see, with only a few isolated thunderstorms right now, and right here. This is obviously not very good for any cyclogenesis because this won't help the low really organize and become well defined. Now, I found out earlier today, due to an uncharacteristic ASCAP pass that actually hit the storm, found a low right here that was actually unexpectedly well defined. As you can see, it's displaced from the convection, which shows that there is a bit of shear from the east. This isn't really surprising, as this is pretty common for the Eastern Atlantic and was forecast to happen for the next day or so. And also, stable air is really keeping convection down, and models aren't very enthused, at least the global ones, and the chances have gone down to 50 now in the National Hurricane Center tropical weather outlook, so we'll have to see if this even develops at all. Now, looking quickly at the ship's output here, you can see that the shear is actually starting to get low already, but will turn westerly or southwesterly and start to increase a bit. This isn't too bad, it's not overwhelming, so 94L should be okay with that. The relative humidity has trended up, actually. It's only supposed to get down to 57%, which is actually pretty decent, especially for this year. And it brings it to a near stall out in the central Atlantic. You don't see that every day. But then starts to move it back westward. Here's the shear right now, so 94L is just at the eastern end right here, and you can see there is a bit of easterly shear, nothing much really though. And here's Gabrielle, which we will get to soon. It is currently getting pretty much shredded by easterly shear. So looking at the GFS forecast for the overhead ridge for 94L, you can see this is right now, and what's steering it is a relatively strong ridge, a bit stronger than normal, which is moving it about westward for now. Soon this will change as trough starts to come from the east, and this actually starts pushing a bit of northerly flow along with the eastern edge of the high pressure ridge. Yeah. So it starts to get steered a bit more west-southwest rather than west, despite this trough, because it is more to the east of 94L. It's not going to turn it north. It'll actually push it south as there's southerly winds coming from this area. And then looking further, this is when the ship starts to stall out, or nearly stall out 94L. It'll be around this area at the time. As you can see, the ridge has started to move off to the west of this area. And here's the large trough, or even low, or upper low. And this is imparting a bit more westerly flow into 94L, which is arresting that easterly flow and keeping it from really moving that fast. And then after this, it starts to move, or doesn't really move here, it just kind of stalls almost out here before it starts to move again. And then about 4 days. Now looking at the spaghetti models, gonna ignore these two. It's probably not gonna happen. Yeah. Well, you notice the tab D here. It used to be the most southerly model, but now has gone north. So obviously the models are a bit inconsistent right now, and the spread has increased. Like if you remember the cluster yesterday, it's spread a bit out. There's some models that just take it generally westward, some almost southwestward, like the H-Wharf here that admittedly isn't really a track model, so I shouldn't be looking too hard at this one. But there is a bit of the like spread here, so it's a bit early to be looking at that kind of thing. So here we got Gabrielle. Its center reformed a bit west today, and was almost under the convection, which is now really looking pretty bad. It's almost like Invest 94L. It's getting sheared way to the east here. Now, it previously was getting sheared by an upper low. The upper low is now moved to the south and is generally in this area, or more like a trough even down here, and is helping to shear Gabrielle. But the main player right now is this very large upper ridge to the northeast. You can see the flow comes down of the north and then of the east here, and then it continues down here and shears Gabrielle, as well as this general troughiness down here. This is most of this is from post-tropical cyclone Dorian's outflow, and the conditions have actually trended less favorable for Gabrielle now, and it's not expected to be a hurricane anymore before it starts to turn out to sea along with the trough that is turning Dorian out to sea. So there's an outside chance if the conditions do get a bit better, but it's not expected really to be one anymore. Now looking at Dorian, as you can see, it's not really tropical anymore. The convection that was previously around the center has been severely displaced by southwesterly shear, which is really obvious right here. And you can see this very well-defined baroclinically right here that's flowing way to the west very fast, and a very dry air feed. Like you can see, it's almost a deep red. That's almost the top of here, so it's very, very dry air coming in with the trough. Now here you can, on the visible imagery, you can see a developing sting jet right here. This clear area that's here right now. The substance in this region from the dry air is bringing those very strong mid-tropospheric winds down to the surface, and is causing actually an ASCAP pass earlier today. There was 2 and 1 today, surprising, that caught 80 knot winds because of this jet, and basically these mid-tropospheric winds are being brought to the surface. And this wind has the potential to be damaging, as it already overland in Nova Scotia. So I hope if you're in this region, you are prepared for very high winds, because there are some coming, at least for at least for a lot of Nova Scotia and parts of Prince Edward Island. Anyway, that's pretty much it for today. If you have any feedback, I'd appreciate that. And I hope you have a good rest of your evening. Thank you for listening.